Some sci-fi shows don't end because their stories are finished. They end because of timing, budgets, or sheer bad luck. And when that happens, it leaves behind entire seasons that were already taking shape before the plug got pulled. That's what this video is about. We're digging into sci-fi TV seasons we never got to see, breaking down the storylines creators had lined up but never got the chance to play out. Not just what-ifs, but real ideas that were already planned, and that give us a glimpse into what these shows were building toward before they ran out of time. Quantum Leap Season 6. Quantum Leap ended in 1993 with a quiet gut punch. Sam Beckett saved Al's marriage and then simply kept leaping. A title card informed viewers that Sam never returned home. But that unresolved ending wasn't the original plan. A sixth season would have pushed the series beyond its familiar structure in major ways. A leaked script and footage of an alternate ending for Season 5 suggested Sam would have stopped leaping into other people altogether, traveling through time as himself instead. Even more dramatically, Al appeared poised to become an active leaper, turning the show into a two-man mission to finally reunite Sam with his own time. Rather than offering closure immediately, Season 6 was shaping up to deepen the emotional stakes and evolve the show without abandoning what made it special. Quantum Leap Season 3. Interestingly, the Quantum Leap reboot did an eerily similar storyline for their Season 2 finale, where Addison joined Ben's song on a leap, changing the show's core dynamic just as it ended. Ben was still lost in time, but no longer alone. So a planned third season would have fully explored the consequences of that twist. According to the creative team, Ben and Addison wouldn't always leap together, creating uncertainty over who appeared physically and who functioned as the hologram. The story would have also widened to include the rest of the Quantum Leap team, raising the possibility that others might enter the timeline themselves. Season 3 was meant to complicate the mechanics of leaping rather than resolve them, pushing the reboot into more experimental territory. Instead of rushing Ben home, the show planned to explore how time travel reshaped relationships when no one stayed safely on the outside anymore. Stargate Atlantis Season 6. Stargate Atlantis ended with the city ship safely arriving on Earth, cloaked in San Francisco Bay, giving the impression of a peaceful conclusion. That calm wasn't meant to last, though. A sixth season would have immediately disrupted that status quo. The premiere, titled Now What, was planned to send Atlantis back toward the Pegasus Galaxy, only for the city to become stranded in an entirely new galaxy along the way. The season would have revisited replicators, brought back Elizabeth Weir, explored time travel again, and even cursed Shepard with supernatural bad luck. All of it was building toward an enormous finale featuring a full-scale battle between Atlantis and a rival ancient city ship controlled by the Jedi. Rather than winding down, Season 6 was designed to be one of the franchise's most ambitious and unpredictable chapters. Stargate Universe Season 3. Stargate Universe ended just as its long game was coming into focus. The Destiny crew agreed to cross the void between galaxies, entering stasis and leaving Eli Wallace awake to manage the ship alone. That setup opened the door to countless possibilities for Season 3. Producer Joseph Malazzi later revealed multiple directions the story might have taken. Eli successfully entering stasis, him surviving alone for years using a shuttle's power, Eli uploading his consciousness into Destiny's systems, or him encountering a powerful new alien species capable of saving the ship. One especially bold idea involved future descendants of the crew returning with advanced technology and questionable motives. Every scenario leaned into long-term consequences and cosmic mystery, suggesting Season 3 would have fully rewarded the show's slow-burn approach instead of abandoning it. Kyle XY Season 4. Kyle XY ended on a cliffhanger that felt especially cruel because it was never meant to be an ending. Kyle learned the truth about Cassidy, Latnok's cloning plans were revealed, and everything was set up for a fourth season. That missing season would have pushed the series into darker, more philosophical territory. Cassidy was meant to remain Kyle's central antagonist, forcing Kyle to confront the idea that family ties don't guarantee loyalty. Relationships would strain under secrets and sacrifice, and Kyle's destiny would slowly pull him away from a normal life. Long-term plans even suggested Kyle would eventually become a public spiritual figure, traveling the world to help others. The show wasn't building toward comfort, it was building toward purpose, making its abrupt cancellation especially painful. Away Season 2. Away ended its first season exactly where it always promised to go, Mars. The crew landed safely, the mission succeeded, and then the story stopped. A second season would have shifted the focus from the journey to the reality of living on another planet. The writers planned to explore questions of life on Mars, both scientific and philosophical, while deepening character arcs that had only begun to surface. The series was structured as a 3-season story: the trip, the planet, and then the difficult process of returning home years later. The final chapter would have examined how time and distance permanently altered families and identities. Instead, the show ended mid-trajectory, leaving its most interesting ideas unexplored. The Society Season 2. The Society ended its first season on a massive revelation. The teens were the ones missing, trapped in a parallel universe, while their parents were living normal lives back home. What made that cliffhanger sting even more was the fact that the show had already been renewed for a second season, only for the renewal to be reversed when production plans collapsed due to pandemic-related issues. Season 2 would have expanded the world of New Ham beyond the town itself, introducing farming outposts and escalating conflicts over resources and leadership. Power struggles were meant to intensify, exposing caste systems and moral compromises among the teens. The season also planned to dig deeper into why they were taken and whether returning home was even possible, shifting the story from survival toward consequence and political reckoning. Roswell, New Mexico, Season 5. Roswell, New Mexico ended with major emotional resolutions, but also a looming separation. Max left Earth to check on his home planet, promising to return. A 5th season would have followed through on that promise and the fallout it brought with him. The writers planned to recenter the story on Roswell itself, introducing new alien threats and experimenting with time jumps to explore legacy and long-term consequences. Themes of parenthood, inheritance, and the meaning of home were meant to take center stage. Rather than easing into a farewell, the final season was intended as an escalation, bringing cosmic danger back to the small town where everything began. Debris Season 2. Debris ended its first season by detonating its own mythology. Finola Jones discovered her father's connection to Influx, and a suspended version of herself appeared without explanation. Season 2 would have picked up immediately, abandoning the Case of the Week structure entirely. Creator Joel Wyman planned to dive fully into serialized storytelling, exploring how exposure to the debris had reshaped every major character. The mystery of Finola's duplicate would also finally be addressed, reframing earlier episodes in a darker light. Rather than expanding outward, Season 2 was designed to dig deeper, committing fully to the show's central mystery instead of holding it at a distance. Blood Drive Season 2. Blood Drive ended its first season in absolute chaos, with Heart HQ destroyed and characters scattered or presumed dead. And Season 2 was ready to embrace that madness. Titled Blood Rock, the next chapter would have shifted to a grindhouse prison island setting, following Arthur as he fought his way through violent subgenres and monstrous inmates. Creator James Rowland described it as a reinvention rather than a continuation, introducing new characters and tones while keeping the same twisted universe. Characters thought lost weren't necessarily gone, and Season 3 would have eventually collided both storylines. It would have been bold, ridiculous, and unapologetically strange, exactly what made Blood Drive such a cult favorite. So those are some of the sci-fi seasons that were already being planned but never made it to air. If there's a canceled show whose unrealized future still lives rent-free in your head, feel free to share it in the comments. You can find more sci-fi TV breakdowns over at TVshowpilot.com. And make sure to subscribe to the TV Show Pilot YouTube channel for more videos exploring the TV stories we never got to see.